Hola a todo el mundo, soy Laura y esta es mi canal de YouTube Idiomas con Laura y el video por hoy es un vlog de mi vida, una semana en mi vida como una estudiante de interpretación con español y inglés. Hi everyone, my name is Laura and this is my channel Languages with Laura, and today's video is a vlog of a week in my life as an interpretation student in college and university. We are going to live a week in my life as a full-time university student who studies translation and interpretation between English and Spanish specifically. I am currently in a medical interpretation class. So the class is taught in Spanish and we are practicing and gaining various skills to help us become medical interpreters. So I'm going to try and film as much as I can in that class, but also I am legit in class, and it's a small class, you know, it's kind of niche, so it would be very obvious if I film, but so I'm gonna do my best there. But then I also work 2 part-time jobs, and I still somehow try to learn languages. Typically my language lessons outside of school aren't Spanish unless they are studying like for a test or something, just because sometimes I need a break, but I also, you know, still like learning my other languages and things like that. We will start probably on Monday because on Sundays I don't actually do much and it's really just a time for family, which I'm pretty sure I explained in the vlog. So yeah, let's jump right into it, shall we? Alright, good morning everyone. It is Monday morning. I just finished my first class of the day, which is a religions class. It is fulfilling one of my general requirements because I still have a couple more general requirements that I need to finish. I'm almost there though. I've got this one and then I've got one more next semester and that's it. And then I have the rest of it being my major minor requirements. So if you're unfamiliar with how the education system works in the US, for colleges and universities, most of them have some sort of like, if you're a liberal arts student, you have to do obviously your degree, but you still have general requirements, so things outside of your degree, math, science, lots of science, and like religion and history. Like we still have to take these courses to be well-rounded, and I am a liberal science. That's what my degree will be in, so I am required these, but I'm almost done, versus like other people who are in like a STEM field like engineering. I had a friend who got her degree in mechanical engineering and she was required like 1, maybe 2 liberal arts classes, and that was it. Everything else was science major minor stuff. So, mini tangent, it's really annoying. Liberal arts majors, it sucks for us because we have more that we have to do outside of our programs. Anyway, so I had my religion class to fulfill one of those requirements this morning, and now I am at work. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have a class, and then I go to work, and then I go to class again. It's just how it is for me. And then yeah, yesterday was Sunday. It's typically a day I take to spend time with my family. So we have like a big lunch and we play board games, maybe watch like movies or TV shows or something, and just kind of have a relaxing, chill day. So Sundays are always spent with my family, but yeah. So I had my first class this morning and now I'm going into work. I'm a shipping assistant for a company, so I ship things out. I sometimes receive things. I work partly in a warehouse and partly in an office, so that's what I'm about to do for the next 3 hours before I go to my other class, which I will talk about after this work shift. So I just got out of my second and final class for today. It is my human geography class, and this class doesn't do anything for me in terms of my degree or my general requirements, but it has a lot of material that I think is valuable for me to learn, and I had time in my schedule and credit-wise, so I am taking it. And actually we are just starting our unit on languages because it's human geography, humans speak languages, so I will talk about that in just a minute, probably when I get home. But I'm walking to pick up some ingredients on campus of my school, and I bumped into one of my coworkers, which is like never happened before because I work off campus. It's very common for American university students to have on-campus jobs because it's convenient, but I work off campus, and I just bumped into one of my coworkers here on campus. She was walking her dog, and I was just like, I didn't know that you live this close to campus. Not like my work is far away from campus, but it's not close. So I just thought that was really funny. But yeah, now it is 4:15. My class just got out. I have my ingredients for something that we are going to make that I'll talk about when I get home. And now I get to do the hour-long drive home. Yeah, so I live an hour away from where I go to work and where I go to school. I live in one city, but I drive to another city every day. This is fairly common for Americans at some point in their life, but it's not typically long-term. And it's an hour drive for me because it's 64 miles apart. Other places, they might have an hour-long commute because of traffic or construction, but for me, it really is because I live that far away. So I like to use this time to listen to multicultural music. Normally, I mean, I used to do podcasts, like language learning podcasts. I love doing like Coffee Break German or Coffee Break this, or like other language learning podcasts. This would be a perfect valuable time, except that when I plug my phone into the car to have it play through the car sound system, it's really quiet on the highway. I can't hear what they're saying clearly when I'm driving on the highway because the highway is so loud. And I will not put headphones in while I'm driving because that is super dangerous. If I don't hear a siren or I don't hear a car honk, it can cause an accident. It can be really bad. So I don't use headphones when I'm driving because it's not safe. But I can't hear the podcast speakers when I'm driving on the highway, and almost the entire hour-long drive is on the highway. So this would be a perfect time to listen to language learning podcasts. Except that I can't, and I'm really bummed about it. Like, I was trying to do that with Portuguese, Coffee Break Portuguese, and I couldn't hear enough of what they were saying to actually learn anything or practice anything or be sure in what I was hearing. So instead, I have a lot of language playlists on my Spotify. I have a playlist called Anything But English, and it's just a melange, a mix of anything that pretty much isn't in English, whether it's in a language I speak or a language I don't speak. It's on this playlist. If I like the song, it's there. But then I also obviously have playlists for Spanish, French, Arabic, Russian, German. Like, I have language playlists specifically, but I also have this giant master playlist. And so I typically listen to one of those on this hour-long drive because it's louder for some reason. I can hear all of it through the speakers, so I can sing along to it to practice enunciation, or I can listen to it and identify new phrases and words that I was learning, and in my head just kind of do a breakdown of grammar structures, but nothing super solid because I'm driving, so I can't like take notes or anything like that. But I could still make a mental note and think about it for the rest of my drive, and then maybe practice it later when I'm not driving. So yeah, so now I get to start my hour-long drive and I listen to music. So I wonder what I'll listen to today. I gotta stop and get gas though, that's the other thing. Yeah, I definitely gotta get gas. Alright, so I will see you when I am at home for the next step of this vlog.
Add like to your space.
So we are making something called poffertjes, which are like the Dutch pancakes, kind of Dutch fried pancakes. We actually saw them when we were in Gouda, and if you're interested in that, I do have the vlog of our trip to the Netherlands up from this past summer. But basically, I promise I know what I'm doing. Another reason why...
No, tell her, don't go. Come back. Don't need that. Off to make trouble elsewhere.
So another reason why I wanted to film this week for the vlog was because we are having a World Foods kind of potluck event at my school. And so I signed up for it, obviously. And I thought I would do the Pofferties because they are a good small like snack, almost kind of sweet thing. And with all of the savory foods, maybe even spicy foods that might be there, I thought that this would be a good break and wouldn't take up too much room in the stomach, so they have a lot of room to have all the delicious food.
They're also very hand-friendly.
Yes. Well, they can be, but I mean, we're going to serve them with like powdered sugar and things that could be less hand-friendly. Also, Flower, will you please just cooperate? Thanks. No? Okay. So we are making Pofferties.
Yummy, yummy.
Yoshitaka. Hi, Baba. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. I'm about to do my makeup and everything. I was at my parents' house the other day and I completely forgot everything at my parents' house. So all of my regular makeup materials are there, not here, which is fun. So we're gonna make do with my extras, less popular items, basically. We stayed up pretty late last night to finish the Pofferties. It was not intentional to stay up so late, but we just started much later in the day than we meant to. So then, of course, I gotta eat that. You know, if you start something late, it's gonna go late, you know. But I got really good at it near the end. I'm really happy with how they turned out. They're going to be delicious and they're cooked to perfection, obviously. But no, more so that traditionally flipping the Pofferties in the little tin that we had is done with a knitting needle, most likely. I was not about to run upstairs and get a knitting needle if I just had a wooden chopstick in the kitchen, which we did. So I actually used the chopsticks, as you saw, and I got really good at flipping them. Like, I actually did get pretty good at sticking it on there, flipping it over, and getting it to be even on both sides so it looks like not quite a circle, but like circle-ish, like a thick pancake, like it's supposed to. I did really well, and so I'm pretty happy with that. We will serve those tomorrow at the event at school, and I was initially just planning on serving it with powdered sugar because that's all I asked the people to get, because I wasn't thinking when I sent in the recipe, and I really should have asked for more toppings like Nutella or maple syrup, or, you know, some of the other items people might like to have on these Pofferties, but I did not ask for that, so oh well. They are good on their own. They're just very much like more, well, they're less sweet on their own, which is fine unless you're a white American, because we like our things sweet typically, and if it's not sweet, it's kind of plain. So, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like I said, we have powdered sugar, so it will be just fine. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that event, but I'm a little tired too. I don't have my eyebrows. Oh, and then I did not talk very much about what we did in class. So like I said, we are just starting in our human geography class. We are just starting our unit on human languages. And this class is very much like trying to be your basic 101 about everything. So I think I'm already gonna know a lot about what we're gonna talk about in this unit, which is good for my grade, but maybe not quite as interesting in the class, but we'll see. Because yesterday he introduced the concept of language families, which is a pretty basic concept when it comes to language learning. You know, you've got your Romance languages, and you've got like your Germanic languages, and Celtic languages, and just so many, and those were obviously just a bunch of European ones that I listed off, but that's because we spent yesterday mostly talking about the Indo-European languages, but each class period is going to be devoted to different regions and different families, so we will talk about more, which is super exciting, of course. But yeah, and it just kind of struck me, like, when it comes to languages, especially here in the US, I don't know what's common knowledge anymore, because when our professor asked, like, what alphabet do we use? Like, us native English speakers, what is the alphabet that we use? I was really surprised when everyone in the class said English. We use the English alphabet. And so my professor looks at me, because I had previously established with him that I was a language nerd and that I was really excited for this unit. So he looks at me and I was like, the Latin alphabet? And everyone was like, what Latin alphabet? We don't speak Latin. The English uses the Latin alphabet, you know, along with a bunch of other languages. And so it was very interesting to me to see that that was not actually common language among native English speakers who are in college, who are at university. They don't even know what alphabet they use in their native language. So that was an interesting experience to go through, because he was also trying to teach us about the Cyrillic alphabet a little bit, like the fact that other languages like Russian uses the Cyrillic alphabet, but that Cyrillic and English are both Indo-European languages, and just kind of like how they are related, even if it's been a long time since they've had anything in common, or since they were more similar, or, you know, the evolution of language and where languages come from and everything like that. So yeah, that was very, very, very interesting. One person in my class had a question I could not answer. If you on the internet there, I think this might be out, I'm gonna text my friend about this because I am also really curious. But she said, you know, why do some Polish names, because we have quite a bit of a Polish population here where I live, why do some Polish names end in SKI and others end in SKY? My guess is that they probably immigrated to the States, or when their language was changed from Cyrillic to Latin, the transliteration was different. Like, whoever wrote it down wrote it that way, and there wasn't any. Everyone whose last name ends in ski, ye or e, in Cyrillic, it's gonna be SKY or SKI in Polish. So I think it's just an inconsistency during that change, either during immigration or when the written language itself changed alphabets. But that is a complete guess. I don't actually know. So I have a friend who is Polish and actually speaks Polish. So I'm gonna reach out to him, but I'm just curious if any of you have any ideas as to how and why that is. I personally am not super familiar with Polish, so I wasn't really aware that that was a thing. I've only ever seen Polish last names with SKI, so that was pretty new to me. But yeah, so let me know if you know, because I would love to know for sure. And hopefully I can even answer my classmate's question. I can let her know if we know. So that would be fun. Yeah, not too bad. Not my usual look. Wish I had my eyebrow filler, but oh well. Alright, so today it is 7:45. I'm supposed to get out of bed at 7, but that just did not happen because of how long it took last night for the properties. So I'm a little bit late today, but that's okay. I like to typically leave my house on Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8 o'clock because my class does not start until 10, and with it being an hour-long drive, I get there at 9, which typically means that I get an hour to myself because nobody's in the classroom before school starts, because why would you be? So I find it really nice to sit in the classroom and get some homework done, do a language lesson, you know, whatever it is that I need to do that day. So like this morning I'll probably do a little bit of work, or I'll do a language lesson. Honestly, I don't have too much that needs to be done, which is kind of exciting. But it is my, it's called community interpretation, but basically it is a medical interpretation class with Spanish and English. Right now we are working on consecutive translation, or consecutive interpretation, which is great. This class is mostly building of skill rather than like gaining knowledge. We're practicing something and doing it over and over again until we can like actually do it. So yeah, that is what we're at. We just had our vocab quiz on the female reproduction system last week, but we are getting ready for our consecutive exam coming up in a couple weeks. So wish me luck. One thing I absolutely love about this campus is its passion for native trees and plants. Like, it's so incredibly woodsy. I'm walking through the middle of campus right now, and it's just a patch of woods to this building that in like spring, summer, and fall is covered in ivy. Like, it's very much a classic dark academia vibe. through the woods to this old ass building. And the flowers. We had like 6 inches of snow just a couple days ago. And they survived. So, yeah, this is my walk into class pretty much every day. So, voila. The fun part about the classroom that we're in is that there's also a German class here, and they put things on the walls. So I can almost do a little mini German lesson before my Spanish class, so that's fun. But we are using the interpreter's like prescription training program for Spanish English medical interpreting. This is what we use. This is what we go through our class with. There's an audio version and everything, so yeah, we're basically just working through the book in this class and building skills. So yep.
It looks like the filling is cracked here, and the whole thing is probably cracked. You may need to root it nail underneath when you brush your teeth.
Parece que el empaste está agrietado. Es posible que todo el diente está agrietado. Es posible que usted necesita un conducto radicular o una corona.
¿Estás segura que esas son
Ay,
las
Dios
piezas
mío,
letras?
sáquemela mejor. Yo no tengo el dinero para todo.
Oh my god, I want it to feel better. I don't have the money for that.
I think that means take it all out, like better.
Oh yeah. When I looked it up, it said kick it out of me. I was like, what?
Sure.
Okay, so, oh my god, just take it all out. I don't have the money for that.
Well, we'll take a look at the x-rays and see what needs to be done. Your gums look a little swollen. Do they bleed when you brush your teeth?
Pues vamos a mirar a las fotografías de X-ray. And now is 12 o'clock and it's when I run into work because I have 15 minutes between class and work, and that's if my professor lets us out on time. It's a 15-minute drive. It's a 15-minute drive. And then I have to walk across campus to get to the car. And I have to walk into work. So it takes me longer than 20 minutes, and that's not even including the fact that I'm supposed to eat lunch. So I run into work at 12 o'clock, or at least as close to 12 as I can. Ha. Welcome to the warehouse, where it's always either freezing cold or super hot. And this is where I spend my Tuesdays and Thursdays when I'm at work. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are in the office. Tuesdays and Thursdays are typically here. Legit though, the amount of Portuguese I have listened to and learned in this warehouse is insane. So yeah, it's very helpful to have a job like this where I'm just kind of alone in the warehouse doing repetitive tasks. So it's great. Good morning. Hi. It is Wednesday morning, and Tuesday is my busiest day of the week, which is why I didn't really film a lot of it, because I was just so busy running from one place to another. Let's see. Yesterday I worked until 4:30, which is pretty normal. That is my normal work shift. And I immediately rushed back to school for a meeting. I am on the board for the Writers Guild, which is the writing club at my school. So I am the secretary of that. So we have our meetings on Tuesdays at 5. So I rush back to school at 5 o'clock, and then I immediately, it's an hour-long meeting, and then we have half an hour before my 6:30 class starts. So I'm like, quick, grab dinner. So we went and we grabbed dinner on campus. My friend actually paid, which was very, very, very kind of her. But so my evening class is from 6:30 to 10. And it's a grant writing class, so it's, you know, it's an English writing class, and we're learning how to write grants for nonprofits and things like that. So nothing like super interesting for this channel, most likely. And also I was in class. It's hard to film during class for obvious reasons. I did try though yesterday as we were doing our exercises. I tried to set up filming of myself during class. So right now, as I think I mentioned, we are in our consecutive interpretation unit, which means that we are practicing like interpreting after something is said. So previously we did just pure repetition, repeating something back in the language that it was said, which is called parroting, to just like stretch our memory and try and build up that skill of just being able to remember what was said in the past 10, 15, 20 seconds. So that was the initial unit that we did, and then we switched to Traducción a la Vista, which is where you have a written document that you are speaking a translation or an interpretation of. So that was pretty easy, which was really nice. It was a good confidence booster. And now we are on consecutive, which is the one that we are spending the most amount of time in class doing. It's not the final unit. We have one more after this, and it's going to be simultaneous. So simultaneous is when we are speaking as we are listening, and we are translating. So we're doing an in the moment interpretation rather than right now. They say their bit, they pause, I translate it. It's going to be happening at the same time, which I'm excited for, because I've already done similar things to that, mostly with French though, but you know, that'll be fine. But I know that doing it in real life, like with a human saying something, is going to be trickier than listening to a recording and talking at the same time, because I'm gonna like be wearing headphones, or I'm gonna lean in and I'm gonna be able to hear them clearly no matter what's coming out of my mouth, and I can ignore what I'm saying and just trust my instincts to translate it. Whereas when it's an actual human speaking, I'm a little nervous that as soon as I start talking, I'm gonna stop listening to them, and that's where it's all gonna fall apart. Makes sense, right? So yeah, those are the 4. We're in consecutive, and then we'll go to simultaneous. And then all of our vocab is medical based, so learning organs, bones, dental, parts of the ear, reproductive system, things like that. So because it is a medical interpretation class, so we need to be able to talk about what's going on. And yeah, so that's a catch up from Friday, an overview from the interpretation course that I'm in. Today is going to be super fun because it is the Global Food Festival today at school, which I made the Pofferties for on Monday, as you saw. So I am wearing like a drindle for my representation of the Netherlands. I'm also going to be wearing, more specifically, oh shoot, where are they? I am going to be wearing my slippers that are based off of wooden shoes, but they're slippers. I do have actual wooden shoes. If you saw from my vlog to the Netherlands, I did actually get wooden shoes in the Netherlands from Lekkerkerk, but I haven't like finished them how I want to, because there's no like they're pure wood,
And so I was thinking of painting them a pretty design and then glazing them, mostly glazing them because I am so afraid of splinters. Like, I just do not like splinters for the life of me. I mean, who actually likes splinters, right? But I don't want splinters in my feet, so I'm going to be wearing the slippers today because I haven't finished getting the other ones ready for actual use. But yeah, so that's going to be immediately after my class today. I am super excited. There's going to be so much good food. But I am a little nervous that because I made more of a snack thing, people are going to want to take like 2 or 3, and then there's not going to be enough for everyone. But whatever. I did my thing. So I'm going to finish getting ready, and I will meet you after class. One other thing I was going to quick say about yesterday is that when you saw me working in the warehouse and I was like mouthing and saying things, I was listening to my Portuguese podcast, as I typically do in the warehouse. So I like listening to the podcast, but I am a visual person. So listening to the podcast is great for letting me hear the sounds and practice the sounds, but I'm not going to actually memorize any of the words or phrases until I see them written, until I can see the letters that go into it, know what letter makes what sound, and then see the word, just because that's the kind of learner I am. So I do love, I'm going to move you again. I do love listening to the podcasts, but a lot of times I'll come home after work and I'll want to sit down and find the words, look up a transcript of it, or go in my textbook. You know, things like family, they're pretty early in the textbook as well as early in the podcast, so it'll be quick for me to find. But yeah, then I go and I kind of review what they did in the podcast and turn it into an actual lesson. So yeah, there you go. That's what I did last night, but I got home, you know, at like 11 o'clock. So I wanted to quick do that and then go to bed. Good morning, Haku. How are you doing? This is our Russian tortoise. His name is Haku, after the dragon from the Studio Ghibli movie Spirited Away. So, hey buddy. Hi. Good. Thank you. So it is 10:30 and I am back home, obviously. So basically what happened, I had a lot going on today. So I had my religion class in the morning, which was fine. Nothing really interesting there. And then I worked for 3 hours, like I always do on Wednesdays. And then we had my human geography class where we continued our discussion on languages. We talked about the history of English specifically for most of the day in terms of like where it started out and what influenced it, where it's at today. So like the idea that it is a Germanic language that came from the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes when they went from very North Germany and Denmark over to England where the Celts initially were. And that was kind of the beginning of it. It's a Germanic language, still is. And then it was influenced by the Vikings and their Scandinavian language, which is how English got the plural system that it uses, because English used to use en or ren to pluralize words, which like children. You don't have child and childs, you have child and children. But then when the Scandinavians came, they influenced the plurals to be adding an S or an ES. So that's why most of English is pluralized that way, not all of it. And then after that, the Vikings in Normandy in France became French and spoke French, and then came to England and continued to influence. They were the aristocrats and the higher society members, and so I mean, Scandinavian increased the vocab of English quite a bit as well, and then the French like doubled it basically by adding a lot of like synonyms and more fancy words and less like peasant words and more of the educated words that we use today. So for example, like somebody would say to eat, and then because of French we would say to dine. It also means to eat food, but it's like fancier and higher class, and that comes from, you know, the dîner, the dinner, third meal, eat a big meal, you know, things like that. That was fun. And then also basically what happened with Irish in Ireland, about why the Irish language is so endangered like it is today and how it's on the verge of dying and things like that. We talked a little bit about the history of Hebrew, as that was a language that died and then was resurrected. So it was a very fun class, but it was just one of those, like, for me personally, I was like, can we move on to other language groups? But at the same time, I understand the importance of needing to talk about the history of English, the language that we are speaking in school and in this country for the most part, because most of the kids in that class thought we used the English alphabet, not the like Roman Latin alphabet. So us Americans, we just don't know very much about even our own language, which is kind of pathetic. But so I understand why it was important, but I was just like, I am really excited for the next class period where we're going to talk about more like Afro-Asian languages, or, you know, Niger-Congo languages, or literally anything other than Indo-European, but whatever. And we're going to talk about dialects next week, which I'm so excited for that. But anyway, so then after that class, I booked it to the Global Food Festival, which I have some clips of that, so I hope you enjoyed it. It was so much fun. A lot of people really liked the poverties, which was really great and really fun. I was stationed next to Croatia, which was great, and Croatia had a delicious balanjinki, which was absolutely so good. And then on the other side of us was Kyrgyzstan, which I was really excited to have some samsli and some borsuk from Kyrgyzstan, made by somebody who is from Kyrgyzstan, and I was able to talk with her and reminisce a little bit. Yeah, and it was so much fun, but really, like, it was really great to talk to a lot of people. I was kind of the only one in Drindel, and, well, I was the only one, not the only one in traditional clothing, but there were very, very few of us anyway. But the point is, at the very end of the Global Food Festival, you know, some people were cleaning up. I was still eating my food because I spent so much time serving that I didn't actually sit and eat. They were like, okay, just play whatever music you want. Like, we could request songs for throughout the event, but as they were cleaning up, they're like, yeah, we don't care if you want to put on a song, just make sure it's appropriate, it's fine. And the girl who was doing food from the Czech Republic, and she was actually also from the Czech Republic, her and her family were from the Czech Republic, she put on a song, and I was like, oh my gosh, teach me how to dance, because she was very clear, her high energy, her love and her passion for her culture and her history and heritage. So I was like, you gotta know, like, the basic dance. And then afterwards, I was a little sad that there wasn't really a lot of African representation. There was one Nigerian jollof with chicken and plantains, and oh, good. But there also wasn't really a lot of, like, Arab influence at all. Just because most of the Arabs in Michigan are in Dearborn, or like in Detroit area. And so I just thought I'd put on like one of the most popular Arabic songs right now, just kind of for myself, kind of to see if anybody would react, who knows. So I put it on to cue next, and then I started talking with the girl from Czech, and the song came on, and I kind of stopped, and I started to sing along with it, and to my surprise, the Czech girl also started to sing along to it. So we turned to each other and we were like, like, we started talking Arabic, and like apparently she had a bunch of friends that speak Arabic, and like I studied Arabic, ahlan wa sahlan. And so it was really fun, and it turns out she is a polyglot. She speaks a crap ton of languages. And so then now we are friends. And I'm so excited because I don't really know a lot of other polyglots, let alone like in person. And to find someone with just the same like burning passion to learn language and talk with people is, we had actually ended up talking in French for a majority of the rest of the time, which was pretty funny. She was doing her capstone on Algerians in France and everything like that. So yeah, my point of this, other than to recap the amazing day that I had, is to go to events, because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who you're gonna find. You never know what you're gonna learn. You never know. So even if you're introverted, like me, I'm an introvert. Even if you're introverted, push yourself, go. Maybe find a friend. I went with my friend who speaks English and also signs, ASL. So that was so much fun. But like, grab a friend and go. Or just go for 30 minutes, and then if you hate it, leave. Like, there's no harm in leaving early. Just go in the first place, okay? So I'm really excited for that. That was a lot of fun. But I ended up staying like an extra hour to eat and clean up. But yeah, it was just so great to try foods from around the world, because for most people, they were doing food of their heritage. That was not a requirement. It didn't say like make the food of your culture. It just said make multicultural food. But most people did it of their culture because that's what they're familiar with. That's what they have recipes for. That's what they know they can make taste good. And they have the supplies for and everything. So yeah, it was just so much fun. Came home, did some homework. I should do more work, but I really don't want to. Honestly, what I want to do is watch Arowabi School for Girls, or like do a language lesson. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, is do a language lesson, and then I'll probably go to bed. So it is Wednesday nights. I'm gonna do just a short little like 30-45 minute lesson. I mean, it's not a short lesson, but it's not a full hour just because it is so late. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are kind of the days that I typically am able to get home early. So those are the days I try to do at least a 30-minute lesson, just because Tuesdays and Thursdays I get home so late that I'm lucky if I do like a 10-15 minute lesson, or even just like Duolingo, just to like keep my brain thinking about languages every day. So that's the plan. I'm gonna do probably an Arabic lesson, although I should also really do a Russian lesson. Anyway, yeah. Good night.
يا بابا حبيبي.
You are always here for the Arabic lessons, aren't you? Get Totti. Get Totti. أحبه. It's Thursday morning and I am at school half an hour before class starts, so it's like 9:30, and I should do some social media posts for my job. I should do a social media post for a student organization that I'm in. I could apply for financial aid for some summer research abroad, but in all reality, I just want to do another language lesson, which is such a good problem to have. It's like, I want to do the thing that makes me happy, but like, I have other priorities. But at the same time, sometimes that's what this extra hour, half an hour in the morning is good for, is just coming and having a quiet place that's not at home to do a language lesson. And it's Thursday morning, which means I'm gonna be really tired tonight to do a language lesson. So like, now is the time, but I also know that I should get
actual productive things done, like that affect other people, rather than this would be a productive thing that is purely self-motivational. So, but I have my leftovers from the event yesterday. I've got like the pretzel, some of my own pure pofferties, and samsa. And so I at least get to snack on leftovers from the event yesterday, which makes me happy. So yeah, that is my, I love the sun, but this is very difficult. But that's my Thursday morning update. I fully forgot I get to register for my classes today. I've had these planned for so flippin' long. Okay, so I'm registering. I hit the register now button, and then I'm gonna go over. Okay, I successfully registered in all except for one, which is my Spanish one, which makes sense because I have to submit a, like, hey, I did not complete a specific class, but that's because I tested out of the class, so I have to send an email every semester to allow me to take higher level Spanish classes. But other than that, I need to send in something for my scholarship, and then I need to send in something about giving permission for the Spanish class. So I'm gonna do that because priority. But let's go through my schedule because I'm so excited for the most part. So you're probably not gonna be able to see this very well, but I have one last requirement, general requirement, and that is a science class, and it has to have a lab. So I'm doing Earth Systems, and it's got a lab, so that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the mornings, and then I'm gonna have in English, it's gonna be world literature, also Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the early afternoons. And then it's weird because the Spanish class I signed up for, I'm gonna try and find it. Nope, that's not it. It might not be there. Nope. Okay, so this is the class that I want to sign up for, Cultures, Spanish World. It's, you know, just talking about the differences in cultures and Spanishes between different Spanish-speaking countries. And yet, when I put it on here, it registers as dictatorships in Latin America, which is very strange, and I definitely need to email someone about that. So, yeah, that's what I need permissions for. And then I'm going to have one other English class, which is going to be, good morning, fiction writing. And I'll have an internship. So yeah. Man, Thursdays are busy. All right, hi. So after class, I went to work, and I worked for 4.5 hours, like I always do. And then I actually went back to school for an event with a student organization I'm a part of. It's the Writers Guild. We had an event today. I wasn't able to get any footage of it, sorry, but it was a Mad Lib themed event. Mad Libs are a lot of fun. They are these cute little stories that leave out certain nouns, adjectives, verbs, different parts of speech, and it leaves a blank, and you ask someone who doesn't know the story or what's going on to give you a random whatever the blank tells you. And then when you fill out the entire story, it is random and makes no sense, and it's a lot of fun. It's typically very funny. So, and then after that was Zumba, which is a Latin American based dance fitness class. I'm an instructor for it. So that was an hour-long workout class, and I just got home from that. It's like 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna shower, maybe do a language lesson and go to bed, but something short, because I'm physically tired, but I'm not mentally tired, so I could handle a bit of a lesson, but I do want to rest. So that is the plan. I did sign up for my classes, as you saw, and I got the email sent to the registrar's office about signing me up for the Spanish class that I need to take next semester. So, woohoo! Good morning, happy Friday everyone. It is obviously Friday morning, And normally on Fridays, I get up and I go to my religion class, and it's kind of your basic Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, but I work a little bit less because I have an extra meeting on Fridays typically. So I would normally go to class, go to work for 2 hours, go to a meeting, go to class, and then go home most of the time. Today is different because we don't have class today. It is a holiday weekend, and so we don't have class on Friday or on Monday. So I'm actually going to pick up a couple extra hours at work. So I let myself sleep in a little bit and I let myself rest, and then I'm going to go into work more than 2 hours, probably work more like 4 hours, and then I'm going to come back here. And last night while I was driving home, I had a video idea for this channel, so I'm hoping to record that today. And then this weekend, either edit this video or the video that I'll film later today, to hopefully try and go up on Monday. It is a pretty fast turnaround, but honestly, weekends is just when I have the most time typically. So that's just kind of how it is. And that's why half the time my videos are late anyways. So I love doing Zumba because it's like a little mini Spanish lesson and a workout all at once. It's great. And I do intentionally include an Arabic song in there as well. Like I said, I wasn't able to get any footage of it because I need to use my phone for music, and I film on my phone, especially when I'm out and about. So I wasn't able to get any footage, but it really is Latin American based dance and music with a fitness intent. So it takes basic movements from different types of Latin dance. So there's salsa, merengue, cumbia, reggaeton. Those are the ones that I'm certified in, but they also do like bachata and like even Brazilian funk, I think is what they call it, but I don't know if that's actually what it is. And all the music that they give are by Latin artists, most of the time in Spanish, but not always, and sometimes they do even branch out a little bit, hence why I can have an Arabic song. But yeah, so I tend to go more so for songs in other languages, mostly Spanish, just because it allows me to listen to them and practice my language skills. Hi, Donatella. So yeah, it's kind of nice, especially with Thursday being such a busy day. I don't always get a language lesson in, so I can just listen to the music and practice that way in my head. So yeah, alright, I'm gonna go to work, and I'm probably gonna listen to some podcasts, maybe an audiobook while I'm at work, but then I hope to do an actual lesson later. So let's get going. Oh my goodness, it is so warm outside and sunny. So wonderful. Anyway, it's what, 4:30, almost 5 o'clock, somewhere within the 4 o'clock hour. I am home. I changed because it's so warm outside, and I just filmed a video, so that was a lot of fun. And I thought it would be kind of fun to go through a little bit my trinkets. They're unfortunately not quite as in the background as I would have hoped they were, but I do plan on putting a poster here. I even have the poster. I just gotta figure out how I want to hang it up, if I want to frame it or what. But yeah, so I'm still kind of working on this background, but this is where I'm going to film my videos, in this comfy little chair by my books. So I'm gonna give you just a little tour of right here, because I thought it would be fun, and it's so sunny that I want to like keep filming, but I also want to go and grab a snack. And then I have a ton of like productive things I could do on the computer. You know, I could do some work, and I could do some homework, and I could apply for scholarships, and there's lots I can do in terms of working on the computer, but I want to enjoy the sun as much as possible, especially since it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I want to enjoy it now. And I have time tomorrow. But yeah, let's do a quick little tour of what I got. Okay, so I love this chair. And it's coffee. So let's start with this. This was a housewarming gift from my host sister. It's just a beautiful map of the world, and I love its aesthetic, and I think it goes really nicely in the library. And then this is a little compass thing. It was actually book merch from a fantasy novel, hence why it's on my bookshelves. And then over here to the real trinkets. So for those of you who don't know, this is the Kyrgyz flag, the flag of the country of Kyrgyzstan, which is in Central Asia, which is also where I lived for a year. And I will actually be going back there this summer for a wedding, which is super exciting. So I love to have that flag there. And then this, it's from Morocco. So in Meknès, they do a lot of really cool, really unique silver work. And I thought this was absolutely beautiful. I could put flowers in it, I guess, but honestly, I just want this itself to be its own focus. I honestly also could put the flag in there, but I don't know. If I get a Moroccan flag, maybe I will. And then this is a Dia de los Muertos skull, Day of the Dead skull. There is a Hispanic festival every year in my hometown, and I love to go to it. There's amazing food, music, dancing, culture, and so I always get a Dia de los Muertos skull every year from it. And so I actually have a bunch of these kind of throughout the house, mostly in the book room, and I do put them out for Dia de los Muertos and Halloween because they're, you know, one day apart. But I keep the newest one on my little trinket shelf. And then this is a beautiful, I'm not even sure how I would use this other than to look at something pretty. I got it up north in northern Michigan when I was on an educational trip with my university about learning about Native American culture in the United States, specifically in northern Michigan. So yeah, these, honestly, I remember that this is from the Dominican Republic, which is the first country I went to outside of the US in my life. It was the first time I ever been outside of my home country. This is from Thailand, I believe, and honestly, I don't really remember where that guy's from. I'm kind of thinking he's from Yellowstone National Park, but I'm not super sure. This is another little seashell thing. I actually found it on the beach in the Dominican Republic, so I probably wasn't supposed to be able to take it back, but I did. These dolls are also from Kyrgyzstan. They were a gift from another host sister, and she had stuck little notes in them, and so they're very special. It is me and my partner. There's one for each of us, so, and I just think it adds some very nice bright colors here. Speaking of color, this was my little souvenir from Hungary, from Budapest. Yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous, and it's kind of perfect because it's actually Easter weekend this weekend, so decorating eggs, woohoo! Over here, this is from Greece. I wanted to do something that was like very Greek, but not quite as touristy Greek. Sometimes this lives here, sometimes it actually goes on my shelf by my mythology books because Greek mythology. And then finally here, so this is a bracelet from Morocco. I do love to wear this bracelet. It's probably the only bracelet I like to wear. But when I'm not wearing it, it lives here. And then here is a Friesland. This is actually a bottle opener with the Frisian flag on it. I also have the Frisian flag here. So obviously we got that when we were in the Netherlands. Up in Friesland, we were in Sneek because that is where our family is from. That's where we originated because we are ethnically Dutch. So we have a couple of Frisian flags in our home. And then finally I have, this is a, it's like a snow globe, but it's from Andorra. I just thought it was a cute little trinket to remember that day trip and everything like that, so. And then the poster that's going to go here is a poster of Ireland that my mother-in-law got me for Christmas, and I am super excited to put that up one day. And then actually, I do have one other thing here. You see it in my videos, but you don't actually see it super well. This is from China, and this is another gift from an international student, a host sister that we had. My Mandarin is not this good, not even close. And I'm pretty sure it's written in the traditional Chinese and not in modern Chinese or modern Mandarin, which they're the simplified characters. I can really only read the simplified characters. I cannot do the traditional. So yeah, in case you were curious, that's kind of the background that I have for my videos at the moment. Because this we're going to use for something else productive in our lives, but we just haven't gotten there yet. So that's what I used to have in my videos. If anyone has seen any older videos, this is it. It's been erased. It's quite sad, actually. And I do actually have another map there with a bunch of languages. The desk is a mess, I'm sorry, but you can enjoy the cat. Hey Donatella, are you enjoying the window? Yeah. So, this was a gift from my friends for my 16th birthday. They Google translated cute little notes into various languages and put it on this map for me to translate and whatnot. So yeah, okay, with that, I mean, library, office. This isn't like specifically a tour, but you know, it's a vlog. You get to learn about me and my life. So it is finally Friday, and it's a special Friday because I don't have school. I'm a little sad because I really love the human geography, like we're learning about language, so I would love to have that class today, but it's fine. But this does give me time to work on things for my Spanish interpretation class, because the class itself has 4 exams throughout the semester, and they are the skill-based exams. So that was the parroting exam, where we listen to something and we say it back. Same language and everything. And then we have the traducción a la vista, which is where we have the written document in one language, and then we have to verbally speak it in the other language, so we are translating it and then speaking it. The third skill, which is what we're currently on, is the consecutive interpreting. So this is when we are listening to one language and interpreting into the other language. And then our next one and final one will be simultaneous interpretation. That's where, as one person is talking, we are translating, we are interpreting, rather than having them pause like what we are doing now. I'm much better at simultaneous parroting rather than like parrot and pause, but I'm really nervous to see how simultaneous interpretation goes. But anyway, so those are the 4 exams we have throughout the semester, and then the final exam, which is like the end of semester final, is actually going to be purely vocab based. So it's not going to be anything with the skills, because those are being tested throughout the semester. But the vocab I recently learned is not the vocab that we're studying for quizzes. A lot of final exams here tend to be like accumulation of everything you've studied throughout the semester. So it's information you've already learned and you've already been tested on. But for the interpretation class, it's going to be a whole new list of vocabulary. It is going to be a whole list of like illnesses and medical conditions, as well as medical instruments in English and Spanish, which I don't even know what majority of them are in English. So it's going to be really hard. I'm going to have to literally go through and teach myself what each thing is so that I know how to remember it, and then I can remember the translation of it. So that is something that I should start studying for now, because that is in a month. I have a month to learn like hundreds of words. To be fair, he did not tell us this until yesterday, so it was not like something I could be preparing for throughout the entire semester, okay? And besides, I still need to practice my skills in general, so I should be focusing on that, as well as preparing for this summer, because I've got some really fun, really exciting things lining up for this summer, and I think you all are going to enjoy them, but for now, we're going to keep them secret. Alright, I'm gonna get to work, so I'll check in with you later. Happy Saturday! I just came back from the egg hunt from the neighborhood that was going on, and we won
the flower raffle. So we got a yellow tulip. I'm really excited. Hopefully it'll be the first thing that I plant in our garden this spring. Really excited for that. But it was cold and rainy, so I'm making some hot chocolate. And then I'll probably do some sort of mini language lesson before I have a work meeting. So yeah, I have a work meeting in about an hour, so I could definitely either do some cleaning or probably a language lesson because I want to drink this hot chocolate and warm up my hands. So and it'll probably be Spanish because I think I will want to start making flashcards for the end of semester exam. So I think that's what we're gonna do. It is 9:30 p.m. and I'm at my parents' house on Saturday. Basically, I did make my flashcards and I did some studying for Spanish and everything, and I didn't finish because it's a lot of words, but I did make some good progress. And then I had a work meeting with my virtual job. I do work 2 jobs. I have 1 in-person job and 1 virtual job. So I had a meeting for the virtual job, which was really nice, a very good productive meeting, which was very nice. And then I really just spent the rest of today doing housework. That is kind of what my Saturdays tend to be dedicated to, is housework. So I like, you know, dishes, cleaning, laundry, etc. and so forth. So that was a great time to listen to some language podcasts and then an audiobook. And then I'm at my parents' house because tomorrow is Easter. And so we have dinner here, and because they live an hour away, they live in a different city, it's easier to spend the night and they have a room for it. So I'm here. I just made some banana bread because we had the brown bananas for it. And now I'm just gonna kind of chill and go to bed and then start the week all over again. So, good night.
Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you liked this vlog and you got some idea of what it's like to be a translation interpretation student in an American college. I love it so very much. It is so much fun, but a lot of language programs are dying out here in the States, and I think it's really sad. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Like I said, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below. If you have studied things in school, or if you wish you had, or if you have any tips or suggestions for anyone like me who is also trying to study languages in school. Otherwise, subscribe. I make language learning content as well as traveling content, so hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified when I post on Mondays. And if you're interested in more of the travel content or any other types of social media, I do have that linked in the description below. It is like my Instagram, my TikTok, things like that, so feel free to give me a follow there. Muchas gracias a todos y hasta el próximo video. Adiós.